All right. Well, let me just say we are day 4, week 3, and it's been a crazy day. So you remember the ab wheel thing that I was doing? I felt that all. I mean, I still feel it. Holy smokes, that really hit me hard, and obviously it's probably because haven't worked out. So yeah, so try those if you guys have that old school wheel. That is amazing. I was looking for a little bit for to put wheels on my feet and then do a reverse crunch, but I think that does wonders. I can't believe how I still feel that. I only did like I think 3 sets of 10, and that was it. So that was an amazing workout. Today we are hitting chest again, shoulders, triceps, and abs. And I'm kind of gonna improvise. I think I will definitely do a either a press or fly. Shoulders, I may do a three-way because I always seem that really hits my shoulders. Traps, I'll probably do shrugs. Get that shrug going, and then abs. We'll see what happens with abs. I'm hurting. Let's talk about what's happening in the world today. Our affirmation, this really stuck with me. And I think it's important. As I'm unemployed, looking for a job, as some of you may have been in this process, the affirmation is your path doesn't need to look like anyone else's to lead somewhere extraordinary. Extraordinary. See, it's the Asian accent. I think it's important to know that just because someone else did it doesn't mean that you have to do it that same exact way. And I think we see that happen time and time again. People who drop out of school become super successful. People who have climbed the ladder super fast, or just people who are doing what they're doing and they love it. I think there's again we talked about frameworks before, but there's so many different frameworks that people have developed that worked for them, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work for you. And I think that's important to understand. I think the thing I've come across, of us old guys that come in and live our life is you start to learn, some of us, that you can actually handpick success tips from different areas and ignore the rest and apply those success tips to your life. I think last night I was talking. I gotta tell you a story, family story. But I was talking to my daughter about prayer, and some people pray every day, and that really helps them. And we were watching Andrew Huberman. Is that how you say his name? Says that he prays at night or in the morning to help him really let go of some anger and fear and aggravation, anxiousness, and to kind of give him peace. And it does something in the brain, because my daughter was asking us about the power of prayer and how it could help her and how it helps other people, and does prayer really work was the main question. And I believe it does. I believe it settles your spirit down, if you believe in spirits, your soul, and to actually calm the body. It's another form of meditation, which is something which is interesting. My mom always told me that, strong Christian, don't talk about meditation. Don't go and talk about medication. Meditation is bad for you. It's of the devil. Blah blah blah. I took a meditative class in college just because I was curious. It isn't. They're all connected. It's all connected into calming your spirit and realizing that there is another dimension in this world. So things happen for a reason. Can I say? I think looking back at the path, just like what Steve Jobs had said once, is that he says, when you take your step forward, you may not know where you're going, but when you get to that point and you look back and you realize, oh, this is where my steps have led me, and without those steps, I would have not made it to where I am. I think when I look back, there were certain jobs that I applied for that I really wanted and thought I would do very well, and I never got. And today I'm thankful. One example is back in the day, I applied for Nintendo. And Nintendo, this job was some kind of a security protocol guy who was going to be apparently taking the device back and forth from the US to Japan. something along those lines, if I remember correctly. And I remember the interviewer walking me out, telling me I have the job. I'm a good fit. We'll be in touch. Now, I don't know if he was blowing smoke and if he did that with everybody, but I believed him. And I waited and waited and waited, and I never got a call. I never got the offer. I even followed up probably 3 times, never got a response. And then what happened within probably 6 to 12 months? That tsunami hit Japan. Now, this is probably a theory, but I would believe if I had that job, I may have been in Japan at that time. Maybe I would have died. Maybe I would have lost my life. Maybe something tragic would have happened. So I believe that I didn't receive that job for that very reason. I think even before that, I applied to become a state patrolman, and I went through the whole process, didn't make it. And I always, when I look back, I'm like, well, thank God I didn't make it because we have a family friend who is a Washington State patrolman. He had horrific stories to tell us about his time, and so I'm thankful. I'm thankful I didn't go down that path. I don't know if I would have had a family, just because of the risks involved. Um, so I'm a faith believing person, believe in God. And yesterday we were talking to my daughter about Jesus, praying to God. And we watched some videos, kid related videos. And one of the terms that came up was Holy Ghost. And my daughter was like, Holy Ghost? And in all seriousness, her face was so serious. She goes, Holy Ghost? Do you mean like ghosts? I thought ghosts were bad. And sure, I mean, I'm like, should we watched one of the movies Ghostbusters? I'm like, well, yeah, but that's we're talking about there are good and bad, good and evil, understand, trying to explain it to her. And she's like, but it's holy? Like, I thought the only time you say holy is when you say holy shit. I tell you, I bursted out laughing. I could not stop laughing. She's like, because that's what mom says. And then she started laughing with me. And I was like, oh my gosh. Yeah. So it's so funny what kids say. I mean, that was that TV show of kids say the darndest things. And that was it. That was one of those moments where I just kind of wish she had a camera. Because she was so serious and she was using her hands. She's like, the only time you say holy is when you say something like really bad. And I was like, well, what do you mean? She goes, like, holy shit. I mean, that's what mom says. It's, I don't know. I couldn't stop laughing. I thought that was probably one of the funniest things. I have to remember that. We just have to write that down. Anyways, trying to explain that to a 5-year-old. Yeah. So I said, well, that's a grown-up word. And I mean, she said it 3 times because I was laughing. She was like, oh, this gets dad to laugh. I'll say it again. So it's just one of those family moments that you cherish and you just go, I can't believe we've come this far, this long and this far. Family, this morning, if you guys can relate, so we have problems within our family, but they're comical. My wife loses technology. She loses her phone. She loses her AirPods. And I think when we first met, when we were dating, I got her AirPod Pros, and she lost those. I don't know how. I remember. And then yes, this morning she has a second pair. Lost them. She didn't know where to put them. So we did that, find my tracking thing, and we're in the house. It doesn't show a signal. My phone doesn't even show anything. And so we use her phone, and I'm like, well, maybe you left them at your sister's, and her sister's lives a couple blocks down. So I started walking outside, and it caught the signal. It said 17 feet. And I was like, oh, sure enough, they were in the car. So I had to go to the car and find them. And then for me, I think my weakness is I can't find anything in the house. I'm one of those guys. If you look at this mess, the reason why everything is out, because if I put it away, I won't be able to find it. I'll forget that I have it. Number one, I'm kind of one of those out of sight, out of mind type of things, and I tend to forget if I don't remember I have it. I'll forget that I have it. And then sometimes, and I've done this before, tell me if you're guilty of this. Sometimes I'll go and buy it again, not knowing I have it. Nothing expensive, just dumb like connectors and adapters and stuff like that. So, anyways, that's our family. What does your family do? Let me know in the comments. Let me know if it's comical like that. AI world, it's becoming so prevalent. Jobs are starting to pop up, populate now, which is great. Um, the There was an article about how Chat GPT is OpenAI is opening up a student version, so it helps them study because kids are just cheating. Well, I don't know, we call it cheating, but it's not really cheating. They're just being smart. Why work harder when you can work smarter, right? I mean, that's the thing. You go to school and you do all the steps and exams and papers that they want you to do. Now chat just does it for you. I mean, let's face it. How different is that than going to work and going, okay, I need to run this report and find the statistics and do the analysis and having just throw it in chat. Obviously a secure version, but yeah, I mean, that's the goal. So I don't know, right or wrong. I do think that our education, now that I have kids thinking about it, I think the education process needs to change a little bit. I think it needs to be more adaptive, um, and more geared towards the individual. Maybe there should be a program that really takes into account what the individual's learning style. I mean, if we're having fitness programs adapt to your personality, why not have education programs adapt to your personality? I'm sure that's not that far fetched. So, all right, continuing on. Day 4, week 3. Here we go. My abs are killing me, and we'll we'll get back to it.